Welcome back to the Getting Results Inc. podcast. I'm Coach Gino. Alongside is Super Coach, Coach Ken. Super Coach, how are you today?
I am awesome. I think we've done a great job in keeping America safe for capitalism.
Agreed. And nice job, helping out with the election results and all that other good stuff. You did good.
Thank you.
Hey, Super Coach, you're not going to believe this, but it's been 1 year since we started our podcast. So we're about to start season 2. This episode we're recording today will be the start of season 2 of the Getting Results Inc. podcast. Congratulations.
Wow, I thank you. Congratulations to you. If it wasn't for you, this would not be in existence. So it's our second year of keeping America safe for capitalism for financial advisors across the country. And I think we may even have a special offer in some part of this coaching call to celebrate, or to not only to celebrate, to sort of go to that next level about the second season of Getting Results Inc.
Yeah, so for those of you listening and you want to hear about that offer, you're going to have to listen to the full podcast, and it'll be at the end of the podcast that you find out about this special offer. So
correct.
Stay tuned.
Gino didn't want me to wing the offer. He wanted to make sure it made sense.
Yes, indeed. It'll come at the end. So listen in for the full podcast. That way you can get clear on what the offer is. So listen, for our second season, this is a pretty momentous occasion. By the way, Super Coach, I don't know if you know this, but 90% of all podcasts that get started end after 12 episodes. So this will be
cannolis.
Yeah, this will be episode number 45. Imagine that.
Wow. So most podcasts end after 12, probably because they run out of content. They have nothing else to talk about. But yet, we are still going strong at number 45.
Yep.
And I think this is... We really haven't touched the surface, really. I think that's a great testament to the work that we do and the depth of the work that we do, especially since we play a game with all of our clients that everything that you do counts, and slight edges make exponential rates of return. And it's that slight edge that makes a difference. And the reason why you haven't heard a podcast from us for the last few weeks is we've been out traveling. We've been out into the playing in traffic, if you will. We've been to Texas a few times. I've been to Oregon, the coast of Oregon, for the first time ever. And that is a ruggedly beautiful place. Mm-hmm. It is a fascinating, beautiful place. And just a fast story I was telling Gino, like I live in Florida, on the Gulf of Mexico. And my ocean says, hey, come swim with me. I'm warm. I'm nice. Paddle, boat, have a good old time, body surf, do anything you want. I am your friend. So I go to Oregon and I have a hotel room right on the ocean. Beautiful. And I look at that ocean, and that ocean stares back and says to you, I will murder you. I will murder everything about you. Do not touch me. I am not friendly. Murder you. Murder. That's a rough and tumble place. Rough and tumble.
And you survived it, though. Super Coach survived.
I did survive it. I didn't go in that water, though. It was not welcoming whatsoever. And I'm a water guy. I like going in the water. But that was that's a manly man. Lots of flannels. It's kind of funny too. It is Washington. If you ever watched Nirvana and the grunge videos, I can see where they got their clothing ideas. Everybody dresses like they're in a Nirvana video in Oregon. At least awesome. That's my slanted opinion.
Awesome. Hey, for listeners today, one of the main reasons why we're recording this podcast is because of our travel. We've seen some interesting things in our travel, Super Coach, right? And there was something that really stood out to us along the lines in some of the meetings and in the interactions we've had with advisors out there. And a big thing that we really saw that was really mind-opening was distractions, right? How distractions are sucking people in. So, Super Coach, let's talk about that today.
So if you've listened to the podcast, we have a massive principle that you can spend the rest of your life studying. And that principle is you are the sun, whatever you shall shine upon shall grow. Or whatever you give attention to, you will get more of. No matter what it is that you're giving attention to. You give attention to Game of Thrones and suddenly you're buying figurines for some strange reason. Right? Or you're fighting dragons. So whatever you give attention to, you get more of. And one of the fascinating things that both Gino and I noticed is that in many of these meetings, in many of the other speakers out there, the general topic of conversation was not driving sales forward, or not really driving the core of the business forward. A lot of attention on minutia, on how systems work, on
things
how
out of your control.
things out of your control, how a statement looks. Why do you put the stamp in that corner, and what color stamps do you use? It was I was just flat out amazed at that. The general conversation was not on what drives the business. It was all about your client service model and serving your clients, but on the technical side, instead of giving true attention to what matters. And what matters in the business to me are your relationships, right? Or accelerating likability and trust.
Yep.
And if you've listened to our stuff in the past too, accelerating likability and trust is you want to be really, really clear who you want more of. Like, what clients do you want more of? More than likely, you want your first class cabin clients. If that phrase is alien to you, go back and listen to some of our past podcasts. What that is, pretty simply, is that it's a small minority of your business. It's a small minority of everybody's business, which provides the majority of the assets, the production, and the revenue. So what do most people do? They focus on everything other than the small minority of your business. Now, I don't know if we want to go into the example that we saw that dominated a presentation or dominated a meeting of $1 million plus producers without, hopefully we won't offend anyone.
Coach, I think we need to. We owe it to our listeners because listen, could be at any corner in our listeners' offices, homes, wherever they are, that this could easily grab their attention and take them away. And this is just an example of it, but it's another example of that shiny bauble or that thing that you make important when really in fact it's not, and it's keeping you away from the really high priority stuff you should be focused in on.
Yeah, it's keeping you busy instead of being effective. And it was pretty cool. I was around one of my clients this weekend. He's a $3 million producer, and he goes to me, Ken, you know one of the biggest words you ever said to me? He said, when you told me to stop being efficient and be effective. Efficiency is for staff. Effectiveness is for you. And he's like, it changed my life. It changed my world. All right. So for the benefit of humanity, since it's coming up, it's Christmas soon. It's Christmas. People out there might be thinking about sending out their Christmas gift list or their Christmas card list. And sometimes the system will not produce the client's Christmas list address and their preference. Like, oh my God, what if we cannot send out Christmas cards to everyone or birthday cards?
My Christmas list. I need my Christmas list.
I need to send my Christmas list. I need the birthday report. Where is the birthday report? Gosh darn it. Why can't I create the birthday report?
And if I could just stop right there. Guys, we're not joking around. The birthday report took up, I don't know, Ken, what would you say, 45 minutes in all time? Maybe an hour, maybe plus more than that?
I would say it was an hour, but yet then it seeped into the future. You see, what you give attention to, not only do you get more of, but it seeps into your future. So
more distractions.
The whole birthday report conversation became a sidebar in the meeting. It became a point of connectivity, but also a point of like, man, you guys are screwing everything up here. You can't do a birthday report.
Snowballed.
What else are you doing wrong? Now, I was a guest, and I almost said it, but I didn't. Maybe I should have. What I should have said was, wow, a birthday report. So you don't know your top clients' birthdays?
Ooh, ouch.
I have too many clients.
Ouch.
You have too many top clients. Correct. You see, because now what's a fascinating thing, if you've heard us speak before, once again, it's a relatively small portion of your business that provides the majority of your revenue. And if there's anybody who's really smart out there, you've taken clients out for their birthday, right? You've taken clients out for their birthday, and you took their family out, and you took their friends out, and you maybe even got referrals. So those are really feel-good stuff. Now, and this is a really good idea. We have massive producers who are doing birthday dinners for their clients. But for all of you, I'd like you to take I don't know, bite out of reality. Let's tell the truth about something. If you've had kids, right, and your kids probably went to a lot of birthday parties, and perhaps you did birthday parties on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, like birthday party after birthday party. Or when you were in your young 20s, weddings, wedding after wedding after wedding. And then suddenly they're not really fun, are they? You see, if you looked at however you designate your book, I know some firms do red, yellow, green, others do platinum, gold, and Burberry, or whatever there is.
I think that's a coat. That's a
Burberry. I thought that was a fabric. Burberry, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe Burberry or
flannel,
Burberry jacket.
Flannel, wool, and cotton clients.
They get the point, though. They get the point.
More than likely, if you're doing green clients or gold clients now, and if I said, okay, here's a great idea, take them all out for birthday dinners, and you have 40, 50, 80, 90, 100 gold level relationships, think about how much fun it's going to be for you to take out all 100 of them for their birthday. That means 2 a week every week.
Miserable.
Think about it. So what happens? It means you don't do it. Right? You don't do it. You create some sort of other client service model. You send them a gift card, or you send them a birthday card that has your signature stamped on it. Okay. Not horrible, better than nothing, but really, okay. How many birthday dinners can you actually do in a year that won't drive you crazy, that you won't hate your job or hate your clients or hate your family? More than likely, it's a handful. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, maybe. Do you know who they are? Most people don't. Imagine if you did. Right? So do you really need the birthday report? No. You need to know the birthdays of your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe. Okay. Because it is nice to send people birthday cards on their birthday. Yes, it's nice.
So, Super Coach, what do you think leads to someone getting distracted like that? Like the birthday report becomes the big thing in the room where that's what their focus is. Like, why does that distraction happen?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because I was thinking about that for a bit.
My gut instinct says it's an avoidance mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking, right? You know that there's some things you should be doing or can be doing, and maybe you don't want to do it. Maybe you're stuck and bored, or maybe you're afraid of your operating system's kicking in and is creating fear or angst and doing what you need to do. Yet what you do is you find what's that distraction that can take up my time and get me away from that, so that cause, it's so important for me to handle that cause that I can't do the real work that I need to do. Like that's what I got to thinking while I was listening to that during the meeting.
All right. It gives you, once again, it gives you something else to do.
Yeah.
And and also either it's an avoidance mechanism or it can be just simply inadvertence. Because some people just want to get stuff off their list, right? They're I'm an achiever. I'm going to get it off my list. If I start something, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to get stuff off my list. I'm a massive completer. I am really, really, really efficient. I love being efficient. And that's the challenge always, in being efficient instead of being effective. Okay. And that's it's the hard part for all of us.
Yeah.
Because you're probably good at a lot of stuff, right? All of us have really interesting skill sets. Now, I wrote a wonderful article. I don't know if this was the title, but relatively, this is the gist of the article. Okay? And what the title of the article was, the reason why you don't get paid for something is because you suck at it.
Yes, that's pretty close. I think I remember that one.
That was a pretty good. Right. So if you don't get paid for something, it means you suck at it. But Ken, I mow my lawn really well. I'm like, okay, cool. Do you get paid for it? Well, no. Well, then you suck at it. Well, that's not nice for me to say. Correct. It's not nice for me to say. But it's to get you to think, like, what do you really get paid for in financial services? What is the value that you provide? Now, I think a lot of people get caught in the axle around that one because they really don't know the value that they provide, or they think it's about return, or they start to identify with production, etc. instead of getting back to, no, what you do is noble and right, who you are is you're likable and trustworthy, and you're trying to help people solve their problems or keep people on the path to retirement, to financial independence, or you're providing a service to manage their money. Why? Because they don't have the time or the attention to do it. And if a client chooses to do business with you, it's because it's in their best interest.
Super Coach, you said something very wise to me a long time ago, and I've taken it and used it with my clients as well. Is it's not about focusing, it's about avoiding distraction, right? So let's talk about what can our advisors listening in, what can they do to avoid distraction?
Okay, so let's for all of you, it's write this down. The key to success is not about being focused. It's about not being distracted. Now, for all you brainiacs out there, you're saying, well, isn't that the same thing? Sort of, but not really. Okay. Because to focus, if you have to focus, and imagine there's a dog barking next to you, and you're doing some sort of complicated tax planning, or you're trying to have a very hard conversation with a client or a spouse, and a dog continues to bark. It's barking, 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 barking. Now you can focus on the conversation, but it takes a lot of effort. And anytime that effort is present, fatigue is right around the corner. Okay. And it's when we're fatigued, that's when we snap. That's when we get bored. So the real game, the real stuff, okay, it's not being distracted. So it could start as simple as when you wake up in the morning, do not go to your social media feeds, do not read the Wall Street Journal, go to what your plan is for today and what is your top priority and what is the 15-minute time slot that you're going to get 50% of the value from the day at.
And of course, that's assuming you have a plan. So what I think we probably should be clear. If you want to avoid distraction, have a clear plan of what you want to have in your day. What are your priorities so that you can go right to those priorities versus trying to figure out what your priorities are, what's important. And then that's where you can then invite distraction in because you aren't clear on what your path is for the day.
Correct. Because if you're not clear, then everything else is bright and shiny. So another big principle: to control thyself, know thyself, and to thine own self be true.
Yep.
Part about knowing thyself is realizing that your mind and your brain were either created or evolved to keep you alive, right? To keep you alive. Your really only purpose of this moment is to get to the next moment. Right. So your consciousness or your senses are constantly monitoring an environment, okay? Because we evolved in situations where it were very brutal, that you had to pay attention to everything or you would die. So anything that's loud, anything that moves fast, anything that's bright, shiny, pretty, handsome, whatever. Unknown will pull your attention off whatever task you have. So every email, beep, bleep, text message, your watch buzzes, all that stuff pulls your attention from whatever the task at hand was. And if you haven't discerned what the task at hand is, you're now playing at disadvantage. You see, what we do with all of our clients is that we help train them or help change their relationship to time, right? Helping them to get that clear on what priority is instead of time. Because once again, what you give attention to, you get more of. And a fast example of what you give attention to, you get more of. As I said, I was in Oregon just a few days ago. Okay. So once I got to Oregon, saw the beautiful coast, saw the beautiful trees, just ruggedly beautiful place. As soon as I got to Oregon, I was like, oh my God, it's a beautiful place. I call my wife, Lauren. I say, oh my God, we should come visit here. Right? We should come visit here. So suddenly a probability wave begins of coming to Oregon. So not only did I say, man, we should come visit here, I began to look at Zillow and looked at properties, look at oceanfront place. I'm like, oh, they're not that expensive. This is really not, right? And all of a sudden, then I got the books on Oregon. I even brought like a travel guide back home. Now, here is the kicker, people. Now, please pay attention to this. 7 days ago, there was no Oregon in my mind. Oregon was not a possibility whatsoever. So literally, as soon as I got there, it began to seep into my future, right? Because what you do give attention to, you get more of it. And it is I wouldn't say insidious is the wrong word, but it's that sort of sneaky, if you will. Okay. So if you give attention to low value items, something like a birthday report, or, oh my God, what am I going to get all my clients for Christmas? I need to get a Christmas gift for everyone. Once again, cute. Okay. But ask yourself, do you really need to get a Christmas gift for everyone? Because if you're going to get it for everyone, you're going to go into that wonderful world of equality, right? Where everybody's equal, right? The whole socialist agenda concept where we're going to treat everybody equally, which in theory sounds wonderful. Not. But in reality, does everybody pay you equally? Right? And how much time and attention do you actually have? For you have the time and attention for 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, maybe 10, maybe 20, but your top 100, that's a lot. That's a lot. Tell the truth. It shall set you free.
Yeah. Yep. So because just got to thinking of just, how busy some of the people out there will get. And it's amazing if they could look at and do a little inventory of what are you being distracted by, right? What is pulling your attention away and pulling attention from those main priority things? Just imagine how much more effective you would be and more time you would have on your hands, more capacity if you were to eliminate or reduce your distractions. It's pretty,
Focus on being
amazing.
Effective.
Yeah.
Right. The quick answer is be a rainmaker. Run in traffic. That's where opportunity is. You have a very unique skill set. Okay. So what do you get paid for? Once again, what do you get paid for? Do you get paid for portfolio creation? If the answer is yes, awesome. But if the answer is no,
There's also that idea of delegation. It's like birthday report. That could be something an assistant could do, or office operations person can handle for you. That would be something, a better use of their time, not your time.
Spot on. So one of the fast example. Okay, how do we help people discern? How do we help people think? Okay, and I know, and thinking is hard. I know that. Okay, so let me just real quick stuff. Real thinking takes effort. So unless there's a pen in your hand or your fingers on a keyboard, you're really not thinking. It's surface level thought. So, well, I do my best thinking when I drive. No, you don't. Okay, you do your best thinking when you're either writing, typing, or actually having a conversation with another human being. But it's best to do it by yourself because other human beings can mess up your thinking. They try to put their opinions in there, which are sometimes valid, but a lot of times not. Okay, so how do we make good decisions? Well, in financial services, it's often a money-driven place, right? So just to help create clarity of thought. Let's talk about how much money you want to make. Okay. So how much money do you want to make? So it's always a fascinating question of when does a $1 million producer become a $1 million producer? Right? Is it when you see your production go over $1 million? Or is it when you start acting like a $1 million producer?
I vote for acting like
right. So production is a lagging indicator, not a leading one. So let's go in the realm of large numbers. If you want to earn $1 million in a year, $1 million, not $1 million in production, but $1 million in your wallet. Okay? To earn $1 million and to work roughly 50 weeks a year, 40 hours a week, you guys are all in finance, so you can figure out the math yourself. If you're going to do that, you need to earn approximately $8.05 a minute. So every minute of your working day, you have to extract $8.05 per minute. With that little thing in mind, hopefully you begin to discern a little bit differently. Okay?
So would a birthday report make that for me?
I mean, maybe. Maybe. But once again, if we tell the truth about things, the greatest probability of you making $8.05 per minute is when you're knee to knee and face to face with a qualified prospect or a client or a relationship, or you're developing yourself or you're in alignment with yourself. And just for kicks and giggles, I was talking to one of my clients this week, actually in Kansas, and he was fiddling about making some sort of decision or doing something. And I was like, hey, how much money did you make last year? And he's like, oh, I made $2 million. I'm like, damn, nice. You made $2 million. So you know what that really means? And he says, what? He says, that means currently you are getting paid $16.10 a minute, right? A minute. Your time is ungodly valuable. Oh, that's right, because he was picking out lamps for his office, right? And I'm like, what are you doing? You're picking out lamps. How much money did you? Once again, $16.05. And he's like, man, I got to do all the decorating. I got to pick all this stuff. I'm like, that's what poor people do. You hire people to do that stuff, right? I should have said, do you get paid to pick lamps? You said no. And yeah, I said, well, do you know why you don't get paid? Because you suck at it. You're not a designer.
And bam.
But it's that easy that we can shift to inadvertence, that because growing up, that's, most of us grew up hardworking blue collar families where you fixed all your own stuff, or you grew up on a ranch, or you grew up on a farm. You did it yourself. You worked hard. So this whole idea of delegating, or even valuing your time at $16 a minute or $24 a minute, like crazy. Now, is this true? I don't know, but it's getting you to think.
Yeah, Super Coach, I got a new principle.
What's up?
I think we should add is inadvertence is just around the corner. Be aware.
Yeah, inadvertent. It's everywhere, right? Inadvertence is everywhere, just around the corner. So it's for all of us to control thyself, know thyself, and to thine own self be true. It's really easy to get distracted. It really is. And it's really easy to invert your priorities, or to get out of alignment with your priority tree. And then you start creating friction. Friction creates fires, and fires are bad, right? Nobody plans to burn down their house or have a house fire unless you live in New Jersey and you're looking to collect insurance money. But that's a different breed of people. And once again, I have a license. I grew up in Jersey. I can make fun of Jersey people.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, that's a different podcast. What's our blooper podcast?
Yeah.
So talking about retirement, sharing letters.
No doubt. All right, so Super Coach, any other last thoughts on distraction before we close out today's podcast?
Structure sets you free. That literally, we say that all the time. It's on our stuff, right? Structure sets you free. But if you lack the structure, then it's really easy to get caught up in everything else, distraction. Simple structures is your calendar, right? Are you calendar? And if you're not, and see, calendaring is a little bit tough because you have to think, right? You got to think I just want to do what I want when I feel like it. I don't want, that's what success means to me, Ken. I want to do what I want when I want. That is the worst lie ever.
I want to be spontaneous.
You want to be spontaneous. It means you want to be a slave to your whims and your fancies. Or you want to be a slave to which eye shows up, because there's a lot of eyes in all of you, right? There's the motivated, disciplined dude or gal, and then there's the lazy person who bangs through the whole thing of Oreo cookies, right? And doesn't even have milk, just eats them raw.
Yep.
Barbarians out there, raw Oreo cookies. So structure sets you free.
Love it. Awesome, Super Coach. Great job today. And again, congratulations on the start of season 2.
Season 2.
Episode 45. Here we go. Another year. Here it comes, baby.
Next level. Rogan, watch out.
To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's podcast and got value from it, please be sure to share and follow our podcasts. Hit the like button or give us a rating. We can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Getting Results Inc., YouTube. Tune in next week for our next episode. Be great.